Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for joining us.
And we are here today with a fellow who is running for the U.S. Congress, the United States of America, District 1, Mr. Joe Cantrell. And I know your wing is a little damaged there. Let me shake your other hand a little bit. And we're so happy to, you know, one thing that we talk a lot about on our TV show is we always encourage people to run for office. And everybody ought to run for office one time. They'd have a greater appreciation for the folks that are in office.
At least everyone should get out and vote, shouldn't they?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, you decided to get in this race, so tell us about that. What made you decide?
I was watching the news media over the years. After I retired in '01, I got to watching news media and I saw so many things that was happening to this nation diabolically against the way I was raised. And for instance, these free trade agreements, giving all our jobs to foreigners.
Yes.
That's literally what it amounts to. And the United States government representing those foreign corporations rather than our people.
Right.
That got me,
Yeah.
I want to do something about that. So
That got a lot of people, I think,
yes,
upset.
I wrote a 70,000 word essay on the subject. I've got, I give them out when all my campaigns, when I go around I give them out to people. And a lot of people like what they're reading.
That's all right.
That's available on your website.
Right.
You have that on your website.
Yeah.
Right. And what is your website?
It's Betrayed, Joe for Congress.
Right.
Okay. And Mr. Cantrell, what are your major issues that you're running on? Just talk about some of the major kind of specific issues that you're concerned about this year.
Well, I believe job is my main issue. People, the fact that our corporate lackey federal government is allowing our industry to move overseas, taking our people's jobs with them,
Yeah.
and then allowing them to ship back into this country duty-free, these now foreign-made products.
Right.
Well, I don't like that, and there ain't many Americans who do like that. And that's my major issue.
And what would you do? I mean, if you were in Congress, what should they do about it?
The fact that whether I go to Congress or not will have nothing to do with how the system operates. I won't be able to do a thing, and I know that. But what I can do is, like old Socrates said, or was it Plato, said, like a flea keeps nibbling. Soon someone's going to take notice.
We know a lot about that on our show.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the way I'll look at it. I'll be able to be up there where they're at, and I can raise a lot more hell there than I can here. And that's the main issue here. But now, I'm also calling for a new political party. The United States Citizens Party of Politics. This is a new party, have no businesses involved, only the people. You can join this party simply by contacting my website. At any rate, the only way, in my opinion, that we're going to change America the Beautiful and stop it from sliding downhill is to put the people's vote into all bills passing through Congress.
Just have a referendum on everything.
It's called a new democracy. I mean a true democracy, not a new democracy. A true democracy. You know, the Greeks used that.
Yes.
They had white rocks and black rocks. People was for it, they threw in white rock. People against threw in black rock. But anyway, the people decided what the Greeks were going to do. And that's what we should do today. We need our Congress, although they're a bunch of traitors. Today, that's what they amount to. But we still need them. Someone has to run the nuts and bolts of the political apparatus. So we need them, but before, just take an example of NAFTA. Remember when that came in back about 20 years ago?
Right.
If the people had voted on NAFTA, there is no way it would have passed.
It would never have passed.
Never.
I would agree with that.
Never, see? But they passed that and so many more since then. How do they do that? You ever think about that? How do they do that?
We think about that a lot on this show.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'll tell you how they do
subjects.
that. Today in Washington, D.C., they've got a building called, they've got a building where all the lobbyists reside. Mm-hmm. Fairly close to the...
Well, you got to keep them handy, Mr. Cantrell.
Yes, you do. They need to be handy, see, because they are the ones who run the federal government.
Yes, that's true. They
do it by paying these congressmen's campaign fees and other...
they pay for all kinds of things.
Yes, they do that in order to get them to vote for their way.
Right.
Now, the Congress won't even allow the people to know what they're voting on. And I mean an important bill. They'll raise hell about stuff that don't really matter. But any important bill like these free trade agreements, they won't even let the people hear about that. It's done behind closed doors, and the money changes hands and all that. That's the way our country is run today. In other words, we the people have nothing to do with operating America today. Nothing.
Now, you know our current representative, Mr. Jeff Miller, voted in favor of CAFTA.
That's right.
Which was the sequel to NAFTA. And what would you say to him, you know, as a citizen after that vote?
Can I use what kind of language?
Well, we're a family show.
He's a traitor. It's that simple. He should not have voted for that. That costs our country 10,000 jobs at the very minimum.
I think the number's actually closer to 10 million jobs.
Yeah.
10 million. You're right.
In the U.S.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and that passed by one vote.
His was the exciting vote.
Somebody was the tiebreaker on that one.
Well, that's why he is a traitor.
Why do you think they do that? They make all these promises, and I'm a conservative. I don't believe in this stuff, and
because they get their money and marching orders from the Washington D.C. lobbyists. That's why.
There's a lot of money in being a.
That's right.
Well, you gotta circulate that money into the economy,
right.
Some kind of way.
That's how the trickle down theory works.
I appreciate your iron.
Well, yeah. Instead of crying about it, you have to laugh about it every now and then. It is completely obtuse to the will of the people.
Yes.
What is going on in Washington D.C. today?
That's a fact. I agree.
So, I mean, is there any way to keep them honest? I mean, is there any way to force them to?
Absolutely not. The only hope we the people have, if we ever want to reclaim our voice in the way our government is operated, is to create a new, true democracy.
A direct democracy, you're saying?
Where the people votes on all bills before they can become law of the land. Let them operate it the way they do. That's okay. It doesn't matter. As long as that bill doesn't come out and get signed by the president and become law of the land.
And how do you keep that from bogging the system down? I mean, or would it? Or maybe we just need fewer.
Well, probably some bogging down would be good.
Well,
I believe
stuff like CAFTA, maybe it would be.
I believe bogging down the system. If it's bogging down these other things, that's good for the country, in my opinion. I believe the system the way it operates today has got nothing at all to do with the American people or their. Hell, they're letting foreigners build our tanks and planes now.
That's right.
Can you imagine that? This is a country that supplied the whole world in World War II. Today, we can't build our own tanks and planes. President's flying around back into in Washington, D.C. in a foreign-made helicopter. This is ridiculous. I don't like that at all.
And we can lay a lot of that blame on the steps of Congress. U.S.
Congress, all of it. Everything that's wrong with this country can be blamed on Congress. They are the ones. Although they do not wield the power that they, by the people and for the people like they used to in the old days. But you know, if in the old days, if the people sent off a congressman to represent them in Washington, D.C., and he come back and voted for something else, you know what would happen to him?
Yeah, he'd be in trouble.
He'd be dragged down off of his horse and properly impressed.
Yeah, he'd be
this is not what was expected of him.
Yes.
But today they do all these dastardly deeds against our people and get away with it.
Now, Mr. Miller seldom has any competition with this race. I mean, do you have any thoughts on why that is? I mean, isn't that part of our duty as citizens to, if we disagree with something? Or?
Yes. Today he has 3, myself and other 2.
Yes.
Kraus and Mr. Bryan. They're both good men, and both recognize the problems we got, and they both have their own way of trying to deal with it. Well, they're trying to deal with it within their political system, and well, that's what, applaudable to them for trying to do that, but it's a waste of their time and energy. Nothing will ever change. Remember, Obama said, "Oh, we're going to change everything." Well, he got up there and he did change a few of the superficial things, but
there wasn't a whole lot of change.
The basic change, basic way our nation is running today, is the same as it was before he was elected, and the same as it's going to be after he's gone.
It's the same. It seems like it's the same people running the show.
Right.
Same people are running the show.
Yeah.
Well, look, one of the things that I am impressed about. Now, our voter turnout for county elections was low. I believe the federal elections is going to be much higher.
I do too.
With the Tea Party organizations,
yes.
with the working moms and dads that you don't find at a Republican club meeting or here or there and the other. They're busy raising their family. I believe they're going to show up, and I just want to tell you, you know, I personally am. I have been inspired with your story, a man that'll stand up and call it like it is, and. We certainly appreciate you taking time with us today, and folks, we're going to say our farewells to Mr. Cantrell, but he's going to have an additional message for you, and here's an opportunity for you to vote. Here is a person who is running for U.S. House District 1, Mr. Cantrell, and we appreciate your time today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.